And like I say, I know about somewhere around 1920 or 1930, there were a lot of people that were feeling like, well, they felt like my parents, basically. I had like a whole planet or a whole bunch of people that had gotten to know me or gotten to know my things and stuff like that. And when I became Brian or something like that, or when I was actually a child, they were like my parents. They were looking after me. They were making sure everything was going to be fine for Brian and me basically, Lucifer, the real Lucifer Star. So they were really like protective and understanding and thinking of things and stuff like that. And like I say, I have a lot of love for them. Had a lot of love for them. Well, we will always have a lot of love for them. There are some people in America and some people in other countries and some other people that were really looking at me as like this wonderful child that had been their whatever and their leader. And, you know, they really cared about my safety and my survival. So, and they were in my countries, were on my planet, or my world. Like I said, I was really worried about them. And because, I mean, I'm not just a child, of course. I'm more. I'm the great Lucifer Starline, just going into a human form or whatever. And actually pretty compassionate and all that stuff. But also Brian. So anyway, so like I say, you know, although I know people would die for me for many reasons, or would be willing to sacrifice themselves for me and even die for me. I didn't want that. I didn't want anyone to feel any pain or anyone to be hurt at all. Like I really cared about them. Like the way they looked after me and the way they laughed and the way they were filming everything for me and just the way that they were all happy and they felt about me as basically like I was their son. It's like there was like lots of dads and moms in the world that felt about me like I was their son. Like they had their kids and then everyone had like this one child, which is me. And like I said, it was a really special feeling and it really meant a lot to me. And I really cared about them. And a lot of them would remark how funny it was. Like I was handing out cameras and all kinds of stuff to these people. And there was this one guy that was like, "You're actually going to let me take this camera home?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You know this camera's like $5,000, right?" I was like, "Well, take care of it." You know, it's because some of the people that were working for me, I wanted them to go home and film their children and their wife and everything else. And even their life at home as basically being my employees and stuff. So a lot of those old films that you see and a lot of those old things like that, and it just looks like just normal. It looks like just kids playing and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well, I told my workers, I told my employees to go home and photograph because I wanted to have some films of the people who filmed my things for me and were messing around with my cameras. And it's like, I know those cameras were like $5,000 or some outrageous amount of money, but it's okay, you know. I mean, they were portable, small and portable, so they took them home and they made little films and videos of their own. And I think they were even given film to continue making films, so they made lots of little home videos and home movies of their family lives because I wanted the future. I wanted people to know what family life was like. You know, like I said, I didn't just want to see my buildings and my businesses and everything else filmed. I wanted the people's lives to be filmed. Like, what was life like? You know, in my empire. You know, like I knew that as time goes on, things change. And there's no way to go back. You know, once you have this great big huge monolithic skyscraper there's no way to go back and say, "Oh look, this is what used to be there. It used to be like two huts and this little bitty stable. Remember that?" And then we changed everything and it got really cool. And I knew that in past, you know, I built many civilizations. So I wanted people to be able to see a civilization grow and change and how time and things affect everything. So some people thought of it as, "Oh, this is just an ant colony," or, "Oh, this is just an experiment." It's like, no, this is civilization. I mean, I have 3,000 planets and 800 galaxies and blah blah blah, or 12 galaxies, or a lot of things. And this was like just like my little showing or proof of concept, or you know, showing basically one of my civilizations. So, you know. So anyway, and as for Starline, me, so my idea, and I actually had it from the creation of the star, or first creation of this system to later on. So anyway, Anyway, yeah, because I've created a lot of civilizations, like for the exoskeletons and the 1.5s and a lot of other life forms, and I hadn't ever actually really done records like this. I've never done like photograph and film and report and like diaries and like written accounts and everything. So it was something new, a test the first time, or something like that, or something like that. I hadn't done. I don't think I had done anything like this before, so I thought it'd be cool. So that's why when people were like, well, who's captains of who captained your ships and all that stuff, I was like, well, there's photographs of all my captains. There's photographs of all my people. You just look for the records, and there's a photograph with every ship showing who the captain was and blah blah blah. Everything was photographed, and on photographs that would last a long time, not just the flimsy little pieces of paper that wrinkle and get ruined. I mean, photographs, and we were trying to do photographs on like something that lasts even longer, like porcelain. So theoretically, some of my photographs might be able to last like thousands or millions of years. So maybe someday, when it's all gone to hell, and our birds have passed in the night, like Nixon wanted to have them do, somebody would uncover a piece of something and go, oh look, what was this? So anyway, Nixon and JFK, they wanted to blow it all up, but I was doing a recorded history. And I would be like, well, I'm in the middle of something here, do you mind? Could you go take your craziness and go somewhere else? So anyway. Cool, huh? And I was rich enough to do it. So there. So there. And I would yell at people and say, at least I was epic. Ha! Sorry. There are other epic people. There are epic people in here, in the world. Like there were Chinese Empire and also there were other epic people, but it's a little bit different with me because I'm Lucifer Starlight. Yes, so awesome and amazing, and really epic. And like I said, getting things straightened out as far as why people were starving in cages, or why people starving in camps in Germany, or where they were starving on the planet, and stuff like that. Like there shouldn't be anybody starving on my planet. Like I know we had a lot to deal with, and it's not easy to just go from just being whatever to all of a sudden we're going to feed and clothe everyone and put a roof over every head. And I know that's ambitious. It was a really ambitious endeavor to try and put a roof over every single child's head and everyone's head, and shoes on every foot in the world. But I thought if anyone could do it, I could do it, and we could do it. I believed in my people. And if you look around here, pretty much everywhere you look, everyone has clothes. Almost everyone has a car. You know, car in every garage, and people would, the things that you would think everyone else said, it's like I plan to put a car in every garage. And later on I even said, I bet you there will be a car I said I bet you one day there will be a car in every garage or every driveway, and everyone will have these. There's lots of things like that, and I was trying to make it happen. And I even wanted them to be good cars and not just some piece of shit car that was stamped out, but something actually nice, something that would actually last them out a time. And I even said, if they last a while, if they can last more than a couple of years, eventually we will be able to make enough cars where everyone will have a car. And then there's a matter of how to produce enough fuel for everyone. But not everyone drives every day and all that other stuff. So, and people can carpool and all that other stuff. Anyway, though, there's lots of ways of looking at it. I don't really care, but I'm the one that, yeah. So, I'm just Lucifer Starline, And I had a lot of really, really good Irish people and a lot of really good other people. And so, yeah. Anyway, when people, I don't know, we did a lot of things, and maybe I was wrong about some of the things. Maybe I attacked and hurt innocent people. I don't know. I don't think so, but it could have happened. And whatever. Free will, free choice, and But Elite SS stand for, just like my ships, Lucifer Star. I just took the S from my middle initial. Because people kept on saying Lenny Snarlson, Lenny Summit. Yeah, I own that ship. I'm Lenny Snubbit. And that's why it says LS on the side of those ships. That stands for Lenny Snubnit. And it's like, no, that stands for Lucifer Star Line, or Lucifer Star. SS stands for Lucifer Star as well. It's just that I got sick of people saying, I figured if I just put the SS, they would assume the S was my first initial and not my middle initial or something like that. So maybe it would throw them off for a little while. So they'd be, so they'd be saying, why, yes, I'm Sanders Snailson, and that's my ship. And it's like, and then my people would just be like, no, that's not your ship. You know, because I got sick of it. Everyone was trying to pretend like they were me or something like that, or take my name or something. It's like, no, it's Lucifer Starline, or Star. I said I had the line because people were saying that I didn't have starships or spaceships. And I was like, yes, I had the LSF. It's a spaceship. And, you know, I didn't just have seagoing ships. And besides, when you have the LS Titanic, that would stand for Lucifer Star Titanic. So that's the Starship Titanic. And that is not a starship, that is a steamship. So everybody's getting everything confused. And it's like, wait a minute, wait. So that's why my name was Lucifer Star Line, and there's my seagoing ships and my spaceships. So, yeah, because I had both. So anyway, for the record, for everyone, so everyone knows, that's why we added the line part. I need an L. And I don't lie. I'm not lying. Lion? No. Line. Could be lion, but line. Whatever. Well, it was because my ships, people would say, flying over whatever, to see all the ships that I had in the sea, you could literally walk between one country and the other country with the amount of shipping travel that was going between one country and another country with all my ships. So I had a lot of ships. Some of them, not all of them were mine, but a lot of them were, and most, you know, so. Anyway, I was just a little shipping company. Steam powered. I love steam, really. So, oh yeah, and it wasn't just steam powered. They had oil, and they were using the blast furnace concept too, as well. They would, on the Titanic, they would be going along, and they would make up the mixture of basically benzene or basically alcohol with some oil, and then they had these spray jets, and they would go down on the coal, and they would light it up, you know, and that's why I'd laugh. My steamships had turbo, which is where they turned on the oil jets, and then ran air through the furnaces and created a blast furnace effect in the furnaces or something like that. We were messing around with that, so some of my ships had turbo. It only added like a quarter or a third more power or something like that. It's just a little hotter heat or something like that to really get it up there. It really didn't do all that much good. So anyway, I don't know. I don't care. Anyway, it's funny though. I used to laugh about it all the time. Turbo. Anyway, though, yeah. So, yeah. We were messing around with a lot of things with steam and stuff. And we had them really efficient. Like they said that the steamships were actually like 90% or 97% efficient. Easily comparable to diesel fuel and everything else. And the weight didn't really matter all that much with the engines and stuff like that. It really wasn't that much heavier. You know, I don't know. A fair amount heavier, but anyway. But it was a lot cooler, though. People loved to ride on the old steamships. Even afterwards, believe it or not, my ticket sales were actually up. You know, people would you know, there's the diesel things, or there's like the steamship. Do it like the old people did it. And so, you know, my steamships were still being used. Even though there was diesel power and all that other stuff. But none like me, so. Anyway, yeah, it was cool. But whatever.